What's up, guys? It's Captain Rex Productions 72, and welcome to another episode of Collecting Every Clone Wars minifigure. So, if you're unfamiliar, this is a series where I'm trying to collect all of the LEGO Star Wars or Clone Wars minifigures starting from 2008 up until the present. So, this episode, like last time, is a bit bigger. In some episodes we were adding 2 figures an episode, but this week we've got 10, which isn't too bad because last time we did 18. And the cool thing about this episode is we get a couple figures that were just new or remakes of existing characters, and there's a couple of characters here I didn't realise had certain variants, but there's that. We've got something that I disagree with heavily, LEGO calling it a figure, but I had to do is the brick set guides. But you've got some good ones here. In fact, one of them I had to make a little stand for, kind of like what I did with the sniper droid here a couple episodes ago. So, once we add these to the stand, there will be 14 figures to go. Now, I don't quote me on this going forward, but I'm going to make a guesstimate, and I call it a guesstimate. There will be 5 episodes max left in this series, but there's something at the end of this episode we're going to have to talk about in regards to the way this will continue going. So, we're going to add our first minifigure, and this is the one that I heavily debate is not a figure, but Brickset told me otherwise, and I've kind of agreement with this series. We do what Brickset classes as a minifigure. Brickset's funny itself, saying some of these are figures, some of these are not when it comes to this type, but this is a DRK, I think it said, droid. So this is from the 2008 7676 Republic gunship. And as you can see, this is definitely not a minifigure. But LEGO do call it that. It's actually just a probe droid. In fact, I had to go order one of these because when I looked in the hatch on my gunship, there wasn't any. So, I did buy that used, but I suppose, that's something I didn't notice when I bought that set about 2 years ago. But anyway, he goes up here. He's on one of the little kind of pole stands because, the underneath connection. So he just goes in front of Ahsoka, which means we only have one more figure to grab for 2008. And that would be the Magna Guard. Which is kind of cool because 2008 is the year that started it all. Our next minifigure we're going to add is an Anakin Skywalker variant. Now, there's a few of these. In fact, I still need to get one more Anakin, I believe, after this one. But this is Anakin, and this is what I would call the mid-seasons Anakin. So he's from the Sith Night Speeder from 2011. But what makes this one cool is if you get the Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Bark Speeder. For now, they both came in speeder sets. That other one from 2013. You get the Anakin and Obi-Wan, but we're going to focus on the Anakin. This is what he looks like, he's not got that clone armor stuff on, but he's not quite, he's not got the Revenge of the Sith outfit that he has in Season 7. So it's kind of a nice mix. He's got that classic Clone Wars looking face that a lot of people don't like. I personally don't mind them. I mean, I've got a whole stand full of these kind of looking guys, but yeah, it's an alright minifigure. Doesn't have the leg print. We did get versions of this with the leg print eventually. In fact, this minifigure has been remade quite a few times. In fact, we got a remake of this version of Anakin more or less in 2025. So we're going to take him and put him next to Rex. The way the brick set kind of mapping out worked is kind of nice that Anakin's next to Rex. There's a random debate. You guys can have them in the comments. Does this Anakin look more like the way he does at the end of the Clone Wars Sword Revenge of the Sith? Or does this look like a mid-seasons Anakin? You guys can debate that below for me if you want. Or just interact with me, I don't know. Our next figure is also from that set, and this figure to me is like one of those, this is one of those figures that made me want to do this. One I needed to fit. Oh, it's a figure I wanted, but this kind of figure is one of my favourite of the Clone Wars figures, and there's quite a few really cool ones here. But we've got this. So this is Savage Press from 2011. Really cool minifigure. Fun fact about this one, you technically get 2 versions in one. If you take off that chest plate, and I'm not going to do it here, I'm saving that for the big episode where, a big video where we show all of these off in detail and discuss them, which will be well over an hour long video. But if you take that off, you get his bare chest print, which they didn't have to do. They could have just done a black body. So you'll get Savage Press before the Night Sisters with the magic and after. But really cool figure, got all of those weapons. One of my favourites. Surprisingly, this figure's not worth a lot. There's some Clone Wars figures that have crazy values for some reason, right? You take a figure like Eve Koff. Now, yeah, he's like a Jedi Council member, I think. I might be wrong on that. But, you barely see him in the Clone Wars. He's worth about 50, but Savage Press can be picked up for sometimes less than 20. But pretty cool minifigure. He goes next to Anakin and behind the 2012 ARC Trooper. This one's these figures with the back accessories are not fun to put on the stand. I will point that out. Now, our next minifigure also has a dual-wielded lightsaber, but he has two, and he's one of those hated Clone Wars characters. But I think since the Mortis sisters were introduced in Season 7, some of the hate towards this guy has gone down a bit, because now we have Clone Wars characters to hate more than him. We have Pong Krell from 2013. So he was in that set, the Z95 Headhunter. I did not buy this set, I'm buying this one separate. I do plan to buy a Z95, but a lot of the ones you see for sale have him split, so I kind of just thought, you know what, I'll just buy the rest of the set eventually. But he's a cool minifigure indeed. This one's worth a little bit more. I think I paid about 40 for this. That's kind of the torso underneath, and this is a special molded piece that has those arms can put in it. But yeah, it's a cool looking minifigure. Not too much else to say. Like, he definitely looks like, it looks a lot like the character. You know, I can't believe this is a 12-year-old minifigure. I remember the weeks for that set came out. It's nuts. But he goes here next to the Clone Pilot and 501st Trooper that were also in that set. Which is annoying because I want to finish that line now that he's on. But Pre-Vizsla is the one that goes there. And he's actually going to be the figure. He's a figure I initially planned to end the series on. But again, we're going to have to debate that at the end of the video. Our next figure is a variant, and it's one that's really annoying me, because look how easy the head comes off. No effort. It is an official head, I did check. So this is Plo Koon from 2014. And what makes this one 2014 and, you know, not the one from 2008, which I'll get here. This head's more plasticky, maybe? I don't know. And it's a bit loose. Is the original one loose? Alright, Plo Koon heads are just loose then. The torsos are different, and the head's different. But, yeah, that's kind of makes them different. So this one was in, that we're adding, is from the 2014 AV7 Heavy Cannon. He goes next to the Wolfpack Trooper that you also would get in that set, just there. Nothing exciting, he just has a different torso print. I mean, that is kind of cool, but at the same time, you know, it's like, I wouldn't... There's a few minifigure variants here I would not have bought unless I was doing this series. Let's put it that way. Our next figure is from 2023, so we're jumping ahead 9 years. And it's a Yoda variant. Now, when I first saw this Yoda in the set, I thought, right, they've just used that design they've been kind of going with since 2013. Has a different torso print from 2013. Like, this bit here of all the lines is what's changed. So, that's what makes him 2023. Yeah, so this figure's from his Starfighter. Not too much else to say really, and it fix this Death Watch Trooper, but he just goes here in front of Bo-Katan. Again, some of these figures, there's not too much to say. Like, the modern ones, there's not a whole bunch to say about them, because there's not too much to say about them. Going next to Yoda, and I like when we fill in two figures that go next to each other, we got Padme from the Coruscant Guard gunship. Now, that was a set I initially wanted when I saw the pictures of it, but once I saw it in hand reviews, I was like, do you know what? Nah. So I ended up buying this figure separately, which, surprisingly, this cost about 15 quid, but look, she does have the double-sided face. She's actually a remake of this one here, so this one here is from the 2012 Malevolence, and, you know, the new one does look good, but something cool about that old one. See, if you guys know anything about me, is I'm more retro Lego than modern Lego. So this minifigure just goes here next to Commander Fox from the same set. Speaking of that exact Lego set, we have a minifigure that is kind of cool, I suppose, because there's only, one other Palpatine on this stand. And it is Palpatine. So this, I would debate that this look, see, because they don't use animated style faces anymore for any of the Clone Wars figures. In fact, that's something they didn't bring back. In fact, that's something they got rid of in the mid-2010s. But this looks more like a Revenge of the Sith one to me, but it's still a cool Palpatine to get. Just, you know, I don't know, it's cheaper than the 2012 one, which is kind of cool for some people. I have both, but that's probably the advantage of that minifigure. He costs a bit less, but he's got that weird piece rather than legs. Now, our next minifigure is a modern one that I do have quite a bit to say about. And this one is one of my favourite figures in the last 5 years. Which, modern Lego Star Wars is very, very hit or miss for me. So this one did something right. Admiral Yularen from the UCS Venator. Now, I've not bought a UCS Venator. I do plan to buy one eventually, but I don't have the space, so I'll be keeping it sealed. So I did buy one just to have separate, so I'm not opening up the box. Because if I open up the box, I'll be tempted to build it. So Yularen's one of those cool figures I thought we would never get. This is why I love this minifigure. You know, I always thought he'd have, like, you know the hair they would put on the old Han Solo minifigures, like, from before they gave him the updated hairpiece? Yeah, that's what I always initially thought this figure would have. So, it is kind of a cool minifigure. You know, that hairpiece, it looks weird to me, because when you see him in the game, he has that hairpiece as well, but nice minifigure. Again, I personally feel that if Clone Wars Season 7 had never happened, and the whole reintroduction of Clone Wars figures in mass again, we probably would have never got this figure, so pretty cool one. He goes next to Rex from the same set. And we have one final figure to add, and it's one of those ones that I also did not want to buy the set for because, well, the set's just an overpriced battle pack that I personally don't want. Because I don't like the new Stormtroopers. This is QT Katie. Pretty cool minifigure. Doesn't look the way she does in the Clone Wars movie. If you go check that out, you'll notice the coloring's a bit weird, but it's another nice astromech droid. You know, there's a cool story behind this one. Not going to get into it in this video. You can research that online. Maybe I'll make a video about it. But this one goes right between Fives and Ahsoka, which is cool. So, we have more or less done something pretty cool in this episode. We have completed modern LEGO Clone Wars. What I mean by that is, there was a couple of Clone Wars figures spread out between 2015 and 2020. Like, 5 Clone Wars figures, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5 years, we got 5 figures. Clone Wars, I call Modern Clone Wars 2020 on is when the series really returned. Well, when the series got its last season and LEGO started going nuts doing Clone Wars things again, I now have all the Modern Clone Wars figures sorted, so everything we do now will be 2014 back. So, I had a question I wanted to pose to you guys, and here it is. So, at the time of filming this episode in late March of 2023, sorry, 2025, there's a lot of rumours and leaked images of LEGO Star Wars sets. And now, we've got that one that's the Plo Koon Starfighter. I don't know if that Plo Koon is going to be Revenge of the Sith or not, so potentially I'd have to add him to this stand. We're also rumoured to get a V19 Torrent with Ventress, Obi-Wan and a clone pilot. I'm going to guess that's Clone Wars, so it's... Even if tomorrow, which obviously I'm not, but even if tomorrow I had every figure to fill in all these gaps, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the end of the series. Now, obviously, this will never be complete for long. But I plan to have all the ones by the end of this year. And then, like I said before, every 5 years I'll do an expanded version. So, I don't know what's going to happen. Because previously, like I said, pretending to fix these lightsabers. Going to pop up his hand. Yep. Like I said, I originally wanted to have the figure... Previously will be the end off to the series. I no longer know what's going to happen there. So, I'm going to guess that I'll have this done by May or June. But by then, I'll be able to kind of figure out what's happening, what rumours are real, what rumours are false. Maybe I'll just wait till August to actually do the end. Like, the video where we go through them all in detail, the big every Clone Wars figure 2008 to 2025. That video might just come out later in the year. I don't know. We'll kind of discuss that in the comments. You guys can give suggestions on where you think we can go. Obviously, in 2026, if they release any, then it's immediately outdated. But then we'll just come back to this in 2030 and look at it again. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Can't wait to get those final 14 tracked down and added to the stand. I'll see you guys later on.